Hello, Star Wars fans! Hey, do you know there's just 145 days until Christmas 2022? I've had a busy morning already, and I want to thank you all for being here. And of course, Meg, is it tomorrow? I know, give me a hard time about that intro. You know something about that song, though? I love it so much. I listen to it like all the time. Like yesterday afternoon. I was having a slow afternoon, and I just put it on and listened to it. I absolutely love that song, and huge kudos to Mike Porter for bringing my attention to it, telling me about it, and introducing me to that song. I absolutely love it. And how much is it for that song? It's still unknown. So the reason I have the little transition right after the song into the intro is because they copyright that every day, and then I just trim that part out, and so I still have an intro. But I've already submitted my request to Sony Music to get those rights. So and you know, we have a couple of folks here. Our friend Novak has gone through a rough week. He's had a tragedy in his family. Novak, our prayers are with you if you're catching this live or on the replay. And Jedi Mike, I see you too. I know that often we deal with heavy issues in our personal lives, for our work, for things that are going on. I know our good friend Sheev is moving. He's got things going on. Every day brings new challenges for different folks, and so we are here to talk about Star Wars. I've got my friend Jason here. We're gonna kind of cut it up and talk about some of the Star Wars news.
Why do you have to pay like royalties on the song if Meg is singing it? Like, why doesn't Meg just let you? Why doesn't Meg just let you use it? Like, why is she so stuck up?
Well, it's Megan Trainor, not Meg, Star Wars Meg.
Yeah, so, I mean, you know,
Star Wars Meg,
her alter ego, Megan Trainor. You know, it's like, get over yourself. Yeah, 100,000 subs, cool. But I mean, you know, I knew you when you had 75,000 subs. You're the same.
Look, Meg says, I wish I sounded that good. No, Meg, you sound better. Just you're way.
I believe in Santa. I do. No. Yeah.
It would have a little British accent to it. I think I need that song unplugged, just on your guitar, Meg.
Yeah,
you know, do a Star Wars Meg cover.
It's because she's an English person.
How good would that be?
Right.
Now I need it. I need it in my life. That would be great. So, hey, thank you all for being here. Jason, thank you for your time today. We have a few stories. The first one is one that's some grifters are starting to get a hold of, and other people.
What? No, not in 2022, dude.
We get an
you sound
awesome.
Crazy right now.
We get an awesome Andor trailer, and of course, the thing we've got to talk about is the 3-week delay on the release date. So they did change it from August 31st to September 21st with no explanation, which opens
hiding. Sorry,
exactly.
I see behind the lies. I see behind the lies.
100%. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because these people, because there is no explanation, or nothing was given to us, they get to make up whatever they want, and we get to endure it. So there is a 3-week delay. I am aware that there are some reasons behind it, and I've got a guest coming on this Thursday's show, our new Guardians of the Wills show that we do on Thursday. It's a secret guest. I can't tell you guys yet, but we will announce it because there are fans and there are detractors of this individual. I'm excited to have them coming on, and I saw them on Twitter saying there is a reason, and I know it.
Is it Alex Jones?
No.
Okay. I saw that happen on the internet one time.
No. So we'll find out. We'll see. It's not Mike Zero either, or maybe it is.
Man, I was having.
I don't know.
I was having this like the other day when everybody came on my show. I was like, that was really fun, and I was like, man, it would be rad if I had like a coast to coast style spoiler show, and I could have like Bespin Bulletin on, and he'd be like, hey everybody, like here's what happens, and I'd be like, I don't know, that sounds crazy, but next up we got Mike Zero. Mike come on, I'd be like, wow, that's really interesting, Mike. Oh boy, we'll have to see how that pans out, Mike. So,
Jason,
dream of mine.
Jason, I think you need to work on that.
Yeah, I want to be like George Norrie of Star Wars.
You could totally pull off a coast to coast making Star Wars show that airs at midnight. You know, it's overnight.
Yeah, and next up we got Star Wars Santa on. Is he the real Santa?
From the secret bunker. Right, it's got to be from your top secret bunker, and because we've, you know, the Disney and Lucasfilm execs are searching for us. They've got their snipers out there.
Right,
they're listening in and they're trying to find us.
Star Wars deep state, yeah, exactly.
They need to. Right, they're trying to interrupt the stream. If you lose contact to the stream, then you'll know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
everything we said.
It's not my Mac from 2019. It's not that at all.
Exactly. Oh, that would be so much fun. I would love to. How much fun would it be to actually do an interview with Mike Zero? That would be. I would love that. That would be so much fun. But in any event,
do it.
I will. I'm in a mood today and feeling silly enough to do it.
You're a feisty Santa today. I'm a little afraid. I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with them, Meg. I'm not messing with them. It's all up to you today.
I think I will. I think I'm just gonna, take a chance. I'll reach out to him and say, hey, dude, how fun would it be to talk to Star Wars Santa and just do an interview? Come on. Quentin would interview him. Look, if you Quentin's got a fantastic interviewing skills. Quentin is the man. So we could have Moses. I just read Moses Gardner. We could get Quentin come in, do the interview with Mike Zero. That would be brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
What was going through your head when you thought maybe Jeff Bridges was playing Luke Skywalker and not Mark Hamill? How did you come to this conclusion? Well, let me tell you, Quentin.
Yeah. Hey, LB, thanks for stopping in, my friend. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support here as well.
It was
the more I think of
the dartboard, and then I came up with it.
Look, it would be so much fun. Mike Zero, if anybody gets hold of you, it would be fun. We'd have fun. We'd laugh. We'd cut it up. It'd be a ton of fun. Nobody would hurl darts at you or anything. It'd be fun.
I just remember like the funniest Mike Zero story. He was like stealing my videos and just like taking like the whole like things I made and like uploading them. I was like flagged, and then he pretended to be ladies. He started pretending to be. I'm Mike Zero's associate editor and all of this stuff. Like, you don't have. What are you talking about, Mike Zero? Can you please unflag that and we will remove it. And I'm just like, Mike Zero, you're crazy.
Exactly. It'd be a friendly interview. It would be friendly. It'd be fun. LB said, I didn't know Andor was delayed. So this is the topic we want to kind of break off here first. Is we got the trailer yesterday, and the surprise in there is that during the trailer it says coming September 21st. 3 episodes. Oh boy, that's super exciting, unless you knew that it was supposed to be August 31st with 2 episodes. So now people get to make up stories about why it got delayed 3 weeks. Is it because they're afraid of She-Hulk? Is the Disney overlord saying, well, She-Hulk's afraid of you, right? Nobody's going to watch She-Hulk if Andor's on there.
Yeah, are you saying She-Hulk?
Hulk, the green lawyer lady.
I am She-Hulk. Rah, rah. I mean, it's probably Game of Thrones, right? It's just not wanting to get into that Game of Thrones. mess.
Game of Thrones and the Lord of the Rings. Both of those are in the same time frame. Joe Monger, She-Hulk. That's Falcon's girlfriend. We've got some great people in the chat. You guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. So, yeah, is it because I think Lonely LB? You know, LB does. He's got a passion around some of the political shenanigans. He likes to talk a lot about just buffoonery. My favorite Lonely Banner term is buffoonery.
Buffoonery.
He should trademark it because it's so good.
That's my middle name. Reward.
So that I love this comment because he's saying it got delayed because of the green agenda. Right there, you go. Now you can put the green laser eyes on there and talk about how no. Rings of Power. That's the Lord of the Rings show, and it is getting some press. There are people, especially those who are big Tolkien proponents, right? They're deep into the Tolkien lore and the Lord of the Rings lore that has been around for ages. And look, Tolkien is one of the best writers, period, right? Like he created some of the best content that is really the world building that he did is unmatched, unparalleled. And so the people who have been
have you seen Return of the Jedi? Come on.
Well, it has picked up some press because or some traction because some of the casting doesn't match the racial profiles of the day. Race war. Yep, you got it. That's it. That's what's at the heart of it, right? So people are talking about how
when I read it, Gimli was Chinese. So what are you gonna do about it?
Well, that's that. You know, they're like, well, Tolkien was writing about World War I, World War II, Great Britain. It was mainly white.
Relevant to our times, yes.
Yeah, it was a white society he was writing about, and that means that all the characters have to be white, unless you come up with a good reason to bring in a different race of beings from somewhere else. And if you just put in a racial swapped person instead of a white person, then you're messing up with our Lord of the Rings. So
yeah.
Anyway, I got
about though like I mean, just telling on yourself with that one, because it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Was World War I a race war?
Well,
no,
no.
And it's like, so who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Like Thor, you watch Thor. Oh man, Thor. What is this? What have they done to my mythology? Like, come on, like that's just ridiculous. But yeah, and a lot of things I've been seeing on like Twitter and stuff is like, they would come out on different days. Like, who cares? But the thing about it is that the big outlets and the big writers from those outlets who each would hope to get isn't going to write one on Lord of the Rings and one on Andor that week. It's really not possible. They're not going to do it. One's going to go to a lesser writer that's going to get a lesser push, and so it would become. So, especially if there's and if there was three of them, if there ended up being Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, and Star Wars all in the same time, I'm going to guess that has something to do with it.
I think there's been some speculation. It may be some post-production, like tightening up some of the CG.
Does that track though?
It doesn't. Not for me, but I mean, I guess it could.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Especially when they use volume.
We talked a little bit about the documentary that was released, right? Light and Magic. Mm-hmm. And that in one of those screenings, they were literally cutting film in the back room while the show was playing, right? And they got to the end and they weren't quite ready, so they had to pause it while they finished cutting film to splice it into the end of the movie. So if you haven't seen Light and Magic, that's one of the things that you can get from that show. So yeah, maybe.
But here's the thing: screeners went out. we know people who have the screeners.
Yep.
It answers itself.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So that whole theory, unless they gave them screeners with unfinished visual effects, what's it called? Stranger Things was literally replacing shots the night that it premiered on Netflix. Like if you watched it the very first night if you watch straight through, you may have seen unfinished effects compared to what it is now. But that's something that if they can do, they would just do that if that was the case. But like I said, the people who have the screeners aren't saying that it's like that. So
sort of like seeing the dude standing in the hallway in Mando season 2.
Oh,
and then
right,
they said,
yeah.
"Oops."
that I think was just actually like the wrong shot being in the edit that was released as opposed to getting
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have the real reason. On Thursday, I have a guest who claims to know. On Thursday, so that's how you do teasers.
Yeah,
And I'll tell Jason and Meg off stream, but you guys have to keep it, buttoned up. But
Kathleen Kennedy got her period. Said no Star Wars for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, Bespin's here. Bespin, good to see you, my friend. I'm going to make up for all the times that I short his stories. I just glaze over them. I'm going to really pay attention today. I promise. I promise, Bespin.
No, he's been a bad boy.
No, I've been irresponsible in my Bespin Bulletin coverage, so I want to make up for it. I need to redeem myself with Bespin.
Redeem yourself.
I know. My subs have been going down because I've been just ignoring Bespin, right?
That's why.
I know. If I would just, get my act together.
Started by Bespin Bulletin to take down.
Oh no!
In a lobby.
We have an enhanced Meg. That's not how I should have said that. Meg is here with her animated GIF.
What are you doing, Meg?
Exactly what you were doing to a BB-8's cardboard cutout when I met you, Jason. Actually, no.
Yes. The BB-8 incident.
I have to say, for like months, I have been looking at Meg's sunburned side boobs. I can't lie.
I know you kept liking my pictures at 3 a.m.
I don't know how. I don't know how you kept. Is it sunscreen? I mean, your face is pale. But
some people say it looks like I'm running or riding a camel. I am riding something. Whereas Boba said I'm riding something 10 times that size. Your mum.
Right. You got her.
Oh my goodness.
You got her, Meg.
So good. So Ducky Momo gave us $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. He said there are dozens of differences in the show from the actual Tolkien lore.
Ducky
Constantly
Momo
acting like
bag. Sorry.
Yeah, like the race part is a top concern. Is no better than a grifter. There are other concerns that get ignored. Very good. Very good. There are things and without going too sideways, talking about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, just say that community has their concerns. They have concerns about character representation. Like, how are they representing this character? Is it true to the character? They've got concerns about storyline, and from what I understand, look, Amazon have the rights to the name, but not the content. And specifically in their contract, they're not allowed to use actual Tolkien content, so they're having to create something Tolkien adjacent under the Tolkien name. And then, of course, those folks are really, they're worried. They're concerned. Hey, there's Quentin with $2. Yeah, Ducky's right. It's a big list. That's true. That's true. And we've got some good folks in the chat. Trinity's made it here. Planet Fitness. Good to see all you guys. So the delay. What do you earnestly think is behind the 3-week delay?
Probably
Meg?
Marvel. They want enough eyeballs on the Marvel stuff.
You think that Andor is too big, and She-Hulk is already getting some pretty
Yeah,
negative press?
they probably don't want a repeat of Solo, so they kind of want Andor to be its own thing. I kind of think they might move the Bad Batch season 2 to October as a result.
You know, I was thinking the same thing. I think She-Hulk is in trouble. That's what I think. And if you're going to put Andor, I think this is a Disney thing, not a Lucasfilm thing. I think it's a
Yeah,
platform thing.
probably.
And I think Disney Plus says She-Hulk can't. It needs all the help it can get, and we can't put Andor on its premiere, or it's just going to get buried, absolutely buried. And I think that's fair.
Did that happen to that last series? The one that came out with Kenobi, the Marvel series, Ms. Marvel. Did that suffer from the Kenobi thing? Do we ever look at do we ever get numbers for that show to know? Because that would probably be pretty telling. I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't see it, but I do think I personally think it's the bottlenecking of internet journalism. I just don't think there's so much room. Like that IGN, how many main stories can IGN do? Or will they do? And I just think that I think that's at least part of it.
We have different opinions. She-Hulk doesn't look good to me. Just my eyeballs tell me it doesn't look right. And
It looks like late 90s CGI.
yeah,
Didn't they fix it up though? I heard that like the first stuff we saw was like revised. So I haven't paid attention, so I don't really know if it looks any better. But the initial stuff that they did, I heard was like preliminary CGI work, and it was like revised. So maybe it will look better. I don't know.
maybe. But to Meg's point, currently that will put Andor releasing on the 21st and Bad Batch on the 28th, the very next week. 3 episodes, so we get 1/4 of Andor right out of the bat. And I heard some speculation as well. And Jason, this is something that you've talked about a bit. Those episodes, we're expecting them in that 40-minute range. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the intro and outro for them, the actual content of those episodes. For the first 3, do you think it's more than 30 minutes an episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, no, I mean like when they go and they write like when they go and they like write the episodes that like they're written to be like 45-minute shows. And then if the content requires them to go under or over, they will. Like that's just they have like a target. And that's what they aim for. That's how they also budget the shows in the early stages. So you will always be correct unless there's a big curveball, something just completely different. Guessing at 45 minutes every time, you would be in the vicinity of more right than wrong over time.
So the 3 episodes in total are probably pushing 2 hours, more than an hour and a half.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I would say
Does
so.
anyone else find it a bit odd that they're really trying to push those first few episodes out so that it syncs up with the Bad Batch season 2?
Well,
I think there's like an overlap that's very deliberate.
You think? Well, I'm concerned that Bad Batch isn't going to release on the 28th. I think they're going to push it, and that brings
Maybe.
us back to the topic. Like, we're pushing a lot of things. So not only is Andor getting pushed back 3 weeks, right? Which I don't think is a big deal. I'm not concerned or worried. I don't think that there's some sort of underlying problem at Lucasfilm because Andor got released is being pushed three weeks. I think that there's more of an issue with like KOTOR and Eclipse getting pushed. So from the gaming side, but at the same time, we hear that Jedi Survivor's going to be coming earlier than expected. And then with the movies, Rogue Squadron, that's dead, right? Or nearly dead. It's on life support. It's sitting.
I mean,
I
the
reckon.
last thing that we heard was that what's her name was dropping Cleopatra to be able to work on it. So was that true? Because if that was true, I would say it's not necessarily dead, but it doesn't sound good for it. I don't believe it'll. I don't even. I think if it ever happens, I don't think it will be the one after Tyga's movie at this rate.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it means it won't happen, but I don't know if it is. I'm doubtful on that one because they had a very deliberate, specific window, and it was missed, and so I think that kind of throws you back into the mix of we don't know what's going to happen. I also don't even know if they know what to do with the Bad Batch right now, with how flexible and weird the schedule has been, and what's the new leaker's name? Like
Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka's. Like they were talking about how the release schedule for these things works and how like fluid it is. How it's just kind of open, like not really that set in stone. Sometimes I feel like we look at this stuff like there's like a grand plan, and it seems to be a little bit more like, well, we can do that, and then they just start doing that. And like the trailer.
Don't answer that, Meg. Don't answer.
I had like 5 answers ready. I'll go with the least obscene one. Jason was trying to ride me.
There you go.
I got nothing to say. I'm just.
Yeah, I like to
Like
tell
one of those
myself
things.
it's Meg riding a bantha. She's just riding a bantha across the sands of Tatooine. That's my internal, and no matter what she says, that's what I'm going to replace.
Santa, have some respect for Jason's mother.
Thank you. Thank you, Santa, for respecting my mother.
Oh my goodness.
What about
So Bespin's saying it's always fairly fluid, the schedule. Right? Marvel Studios products have shown it.
I think we'll all be fairly fluid when we see Andor.
I think so too.
I just want to see Arhono running again, and like in the first trailer, it was a little bit better. Just want to throw that out there.
I think it also bears noting that Taika's movie is not going to happen in 2023. Anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that that's going to happen in 2023?
I don't think so.
Nah.
Unless you're lying to yourself.
You know what's going to
Yes.
happen? On September the 21st, Diego Luna's going to be like, we apologize, but you can now look forward to the Andor premiere on December the 31st with a 12-episode premiere.
That would be better. I wish they would just drop everything.
That's what I was going to ask about Bad Batch. So one of the complaints that people had through the season 1 of Bad Batch is they should have just dropped the whole thing at once, and maybe they should treat the animated series differently than they do the live action series. And now this is we're starting to get into a pattern with Star Wars live action of releasing multiple episodes on release date. Now we're up to 3.
But that's to buy us off and not get us mad at the delay. I think they wanted to do it too, and then they said they were going to do it too because they want to get you hooked. But then they pushed it back, and that's why we got the 3. That's clearly like, oh, but you get 3, and like you can see all of like the Lucasfilm bootlicker types. Everybody, Andor's delayed. All 3 episodes are, and they're like playing that whole game. So I mean, it's clear. It's like, but if you do the math, you're actually getting less still by that point.
Yeah, some people need to take it out their mouths, wipe their face, and then speak from a place of non-chivalry.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
Well, I think their Obsession. Hey, I was just watching Obsession. This is sort of what got me thinking about this even more this morning. The delay issues more with polishing, adjusting rather than scheduling dodge. I'm not sure. At this point, we just don't. It's all speculation. Why? Right? We just have to take our best guesses. And I'm wondering, with the Bad Batch, do we push it back to December? I wanted to bring up another point about Andor. If one of the issues with streaming services is obtaining and retaining subscribers, is there an advantage to pushing to September 21st rather than August 31st for are people going to sign up on August 31st to be there for the very first day, or would they wait till September 1st anyway? Right? If you're going to sign up for Disney Plus to watch Andor, right? Andor's releasing August 31st. Do you take a double hit? Do you take the subscription for August and September, or do you just wait for September 1st to get that anyway? So pushing to September doesn't hurt your subscription model, and they're going to subscribe. New subscriptions going to come in September anyway.
I mean, but it's like when you have like the Marvel show, when they do like the Marvel, then the Star Wars thing, that doesn't work on me. I don't really care. I wouldn't subscribe to it for the Marvel shows personally. I really mostly kind of like I'll watch them because I have the service, but I don't care. I wouldn't do it. But like I keep it going. Like when Star Wars shows end, I keep it going just for the convenience of the Star Wars content in demand. You know.
Yeah, that's my perspective as well.
Yeah.
At a certain point, what I'm trying to say is at a certain point, I don't think Andor's bringing in new subscribers. Andor is very much a show that's for the established Star Wars fan base.
Yeah, I think Matt Rissman has a point. I don't know how many new subscribers they're really going to get from it. Right. Unless it like really takes off and word gets around.
Yeah.
I mean, or if they got Kamal Nanjiani maybe to play B2 Emo or whatever his name is.
So I heard Sheev mention it. He thinks his Disney Plus subscription, his 1 year subscription, just is ending like right around now, and so he needs to renew it. And what Not Lewisk is saying here is they push dates when they know they have a large spike in subscription expires. So that could be part of it. They're looking at the subscription wave and thinking, okay, we can help support it up by not having people drop out.
But wouldn't that be more beneficial to have a 12-part ongoing show that is in that overlap of time? Because like I've started Andor, on 3 episodes in, I gotta see the other 9. I gotta resubscribe, as opposed to being like, oh no, I could start a new show after, because I feel like if your subscription ends and then a new show starting, you're like, well, I'll get there when I get there. But when you're already in, that's the difference. And it's 12. It was 12 episodes long, so the window of that's so big. So, like I said, I think it has to do with internet coverage, internet journalism more than anything. Personally, that's my
okay. Well, good.
That's my
good.
bet. I
think that's a good speculation. And as far as the Bad Batch season is concerned, I feel confident in saying we'll get more than 1 episode when it releases. And I also think that the chances of it sticking to September 28th is at risk. I don't know how much risk, but I feel like I would not be surprised if they push it back to November, for example, right? Like, I'm just doing math in my head, thinking, okay, Andor starts off with 3 episodes, it's still got 9 to go.
Mm-hmm.
That pushes it through October, maybe through Bad Batch into November. You got Tales of the Jedi. There's still just so many questions in my head about would they release Bad Batch in one shot, just drop all the episodes?
Like when you look at what these shows cost, like just to contextualize it, like Andor is like taking your wife out for a lobster dinner, and this is like going out for ice cream by comparison. So I don't know if I think with Bad Batch, they're just more like, what are we going to do? And they're like, well, we can do this. Like, and so I think that's what all of it's, I think it's been done. I think the
So what you're saying, Jason, is you like a good lick over removing it from the shell?
Yeah.
Salty versus sweet.
Yeah. I like a good cup.
Oh no,
And Willow comes out in November. Thank you, Bespin.
Bespin,
Wait,
don't
so
look.
our
Don't steal
Christmas
for
show
Jason.
is potentially the Bad Batch.
Somebody speaking.
I would have done it reverse. I would have released the Bad Batch first and then Andor over Christmas. It's
I
more
see.
Christmassy.
When it comes
see.
to those when it comes to shows like that, though, I think that they would, when it comes to like Bad Batch, they would be better dropping all at once, because kids only get to watch those shows when their parents say you have time to watch those shows. They can't just sit there and go, let me stay up to midnight at the premiere. But also, when adults stay up for that premiere, in general, it's like the show is not that kind of show. So it ends up making people go like people are like, oh, it wasn't that good, and the show's fine. The show does exactly what it should be doing. And so I think if they're smart, they will drop it all at once. That most of the animated shows, they should do that.
Well, I'm just going to say that about Tales of the Jedi. That's those are shorter episodes, and it's a shorter series. So they could do it very much like they did Visions and drop all of it, right? So good point. And Bespin saying he doesn't think there's any problem with overlapping. Audience is going to be fine either way, right?
Yeah.
I think that's largely true. Robert, I'm with you. I have stopped buying physical media, and I just keep my subscriptions. I'm like, that's fine. So to close the subject and move on, are there any concern that there's some structural problems at Lucasfilm, leadership problems at Lucasfilm, over these delays?
Yes.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just really irrelevant. I mean, like if anything, I think it says the opposite, that they're not necessarily asleep at the wheel. Like, oh well, we said nothing could change now, just keep on going. But it's when plans change, because they are flexible, because they do come up with a better strategy for them, what they consider to be a better strategy, that people then go, oh, something's wrong, trouble in paradise. And it's like,
I don't
actually,
think anything's wrong.
Yeah, it's the opposice of that. If they're able to be flexible, it says that they saw a better window.
Chillmonger, this is hilarious.
It's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
That is funny. There is funny.
You see, the thing that most people miss about this is the Force is actually non-binary. They just don't tell you.
This joke is hilarious, though, Meg. This is.
I suppose so. I was going to say that I think Lucasfilm think they're doing great. You can take that as you will, but I think in their eyes they're doing fine. So, from that standpoint.
And there's a discussion going on, and I'll just highlight Obsession's point here. He's not the only one talking about it, but there was some chatter coming out a couple weeks ago about how harsh the working conditions are at Marvel Studios.
I have a question. Was that at Marvel, or was that the contracted visual effects employees?
A lot of it was visual effects workers, in whatever capacity that is, and they were just getting burnt out and working ridiculous hours without additional pay and that kind of thing, and it was wearing them out. And the question is, okay, since it's still within the studio head of Disney, does the same problem exist over at Lucasfilm with visual effects folks, artists, and the like? And I have no idea. No insight.
For years, what ILM has been doing, from what I understand, is it's a really weird practice. They farm out the visual effects to India, and then we're essentially really underpaid laborers do visual effects that are just barely good enough to get by. Then they take that and make it better. It's a weird, really, really weird process. And I saw I won't say their names, but some of the visual effects people from ILM who were speaking about like the CGI conversion of the Attack of the Clones, and they were going on. They were like, yeah, we sent it out to India, and the work isn't any good. You could tell they didn't like doing it, but it was how the industry, it's how it's done. And like on, I remember seeing some stuff about Transformers, where they did that with Transformers, and then the idea, I think it works as sort of a safety net at the same time. If they run out of time, then they do have finished visual effects done from India, and if they can make it, then they take that, then they make it better, and then it's like at the quote ILM level. And yeah, and then but what's going on from what I've heard about like Marvel stuff is that they'll just like go like, oh, we just did a rewrite. Isn't that fun? And there's this guy who's like, I didn't see my kids for 3 weekends because I was working on weekends for this shot. Now you threw it away. Like know what you're doing before you ask me to do that. And the father in me is a little bit like, yeah, I get where you're coming from. That's really messed up. The other part of me is like, why did you go into filmmaking and visual effects if you aren't down for crunches for your whole life, because that's what it's always been. I think it sucks, but that's what it's always been. I don't know. Maybe you should. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a dick, but
go back to Light and Magic, and watch what do those guys' lives look like.
Yeah,
when Light and Magic.
It doesn't. I don't really know why anybody would want to work at ILM personally.
Yeah,
and have a life. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you don't want to have a life, then it's a great career. And some people are very much suited for that. Like all they want to do is this one thing. This is all I care about. And I think that those are the people that should be in that industry, because I don't think it's ever going to be fair. And if fair is being able to work 40 hours and have weekends and stuff like that, I just don't think it's ever going to not be a crunch industry. So be real about it. I don't think it sucks though. I do feel bad for them, but you know.
Well, yeah, and I do think they deserve to be treated humane. Even the elves here at the North Pole are treated humanely. We have no union here either, just for the record. But anyway, no.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
So I do want to cover Bespin's article, and Meg talked about it a little bit today. Is Tony Gilroy, did he direct 5 episodes of Andor? The story came out, and Bespin did a great job of covering this yesterday.
He did okay. I don't know about great.
He's here in the chat, Jason. He's listening. He did a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Really good work. Really good work, BB.
He did a great job. The way he explained this makes total sense to me.
Okay.
And so he talked about the trailer coming out, and of course Tony Gilroy and the whole deal with Bourne trilogy.
Bespin does the bare butt minimum. That's what they call it, the BBB. Oh, sorry, the BBM.
It was revealed that plans had changed due to the pandemic. Gilroy would not direct any episodes of the series. So that's what we had learned, right? And then along it comes, and according to Variety, Gilroy directed the pilot episode along with an additional 4. Well, Variety, being a trade, has got people like, oh, wait a second. Tony Gilroy directed 5 episodes. Woo! We're super excited.
The traders.
Right. And then Bespin goes on, and I think his take here is spot on. I think the way he interpreted this is correct. So
Bespin's got brains.
Right. It says, I just want to go down to the part that he gets really, really good. Right. It says, perhaps it's a mistake on Variety's part, which I believe it likely is. Right. He thinks it's a mistake on Variety's part. This seems quite odd given the credibility of the outlet, their connections to the studio, and so on. But here it says, Tony Gilroy did write the pilot, and he wrote an additional 4 episodes, which is where he believes Variety has gotten things mixed up. I think this is the core of it, right? I think this is where Bespin absolutely nails it and helps clarify for us
I don't know.
Make things
I
make
think
sense.
Tony Gilroy's a troll. He's like, oh, we didn't use the volume at all. And like 2 weeks earlier, Sana Vollenberg and Genevieve O'Reilly were like, yeah, we filmed the battle sequences using the volume.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a second, Meg. But yeah.
Do you guys think that maybe it's a bit of a Poltergeist / Return of the Jedi situation where the writer literally directed the whole movie in the script and was set to direct it, then didn't get to, and simply was like, okay, do this, do that, and then so there's a bit of wires getting crossed here, because I kind of think that could have happened, where because so much of it was already done in previs, so that stuff was all the previs stuff was definitely directed by Gilroy, and then once you get beyond that, he's probably, when they brought in the directors late, and the late directors were probably told exactly what to do from a video conference phone situation. It's probably like right there, like a talking monitor head, literally telling and going, "Oh yeah, baby, that looks good. Gilroy like what you're doing, baby," and stuff like that, because that's how directors talk.
He looks like that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think Bespin's got it right.
Wasn't it the guy
my
who
story.
owns Papa John's? Doesn't he make everyone call him Daddy or something?
They can call him Papa.
That's the one.
Yeah, he's the Papa John.
Gilroy was supposed to direct the pilot and at least 2 others. Gilroy was spotted at the Corton Refinery during filming too. So there you go. There you go. Hey, Star Wars dog. I've been. This is on my watch list. I do plan to get to this soon. So thank you for bringing that up again. Yeah, Shaq bought Papa John's from Papa John. Shaq did buy several chain franchises. I don't think he owns Papa John's, but he did buy several franchises.
That's how I heard it.
So since we're talking about Tony Gilroy, and Meg brought it up, there is this article from Empire Magazine, and thank you, Meg, for pointing out where I could find this today. I watched Meg's video, and she said Empire. She brought this up, and I was like, aha! Now I know where to go. So Gilroy said Andor doesn't use Star Wars volume video wall. We're old school, and in here he goes on to say they didn't use it at all. Where's the quote in here? Here it is. We didn't use stagecraft at all. Well, somebody called Maury Povich, and he checked, and he determined that was a lie.
You are not the father of Star Wars.
Look, Jason, you've got some. We were talking just before the stream, so go ahead.
Yeah, I have a quote from a source that stuff they told me, it was in that trailer, so they're worth taking serious. Yeah, a lot of it is practical compared to Boba and Mando, etc. But we definitely use stagecraft, as I witnessed it with my own eyes. Mon Mothma sitting on a huge sofa, all of the windows and all that were stagecraft. So it's in the trailer. The stagecraft is in the trailer.
I think Andor is going to show filmmakers how you use the volume by not depending on it, but also using it where practical effects aren't possible or don't look as good. I can imagine Coruscant backdrops looking really cool with stagecraft.
Yeah, well, and there's the other scene where we see the guy come out of the vessel, and there's out of the ship, and there's a speeder bike down there, and he's going to get on the speeder bike. He pulls his hood up over his head, very Darth Maul-esque, right? It reminds me of the scene from Phantom Menace when Maul does that. There's no way that ship is a practical model.
What?
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right? It's not.
Oh yeah. And my source also goes on to basically say that they did the same stuff with Indy and Ant-Man.
Oh, okay.
Just as a side note. There's a classy way of doing it, and there's a way that is less classy. Like Big says, they're going to show you how to do it. I think the recent Lucasfilm projects tried to see how far they could push it.
Well, and Jason, you brought up as well, like like I don't know if it's like in space or underwater, or whatever, where those tubes are there, and you see the people walking through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
the barefoot people.
Yeah, the barefoot people walking through there, wearing the like prison garb.
Mm-hmm.
That's got a good bit of stagecraft or CG minimum.
Who knows? It's up in Scotland. It could have been doing anything up there. As an English person, I've never been.
Where's Greg when we need him? Where's Darth Elvis? He'd been DMing me. Darth Elvis is DMing me, and I need to tell him, hey, you need to get on and defend your country, your countrymen. Meg's putting you guys. There's a good bit of that that's definitely CG. Whether that was done in a volume or not.
Yeah, but what Beth's been saying is the correct thing. Like that stuff wouldn't use stagecraft for those tubes. They would just do it just like Attack of the Clones, which is set extension on green screens probably.
Yeah. Hey, Kindle's wait.
I have one of 3 responses you can choose. Actually, no, never mind. I don't want to get Santa demonetized.
Meg has been to the States. I happen to know the answer to this, although I've never met her. She saw Jason doing untoward things with a cardboard cutout of BB-8.
Mm-hmm,
I did.
So what? Don't kink shame. Don't kink shame me. I'll buy you a soda if you just shut up about it, though, Meg.
All right.
I took the soda and I joined in. BB-8 wasn't needed after that.
No, poor BB-8.
Oh no, where did this go?
Well, it kind of just turned into.
It did. It just got really uncomfortable.
Soft cardboard. Oh.
Mike Porter says that it's just after it says she's breathing hard and winking. That's me after 10 steps, right? Bespin says I'm in the States, locked in an undisclosed leaker's basement. This goes back to what we're talking.
Sorry.
This goes back to the show that Jason needs to start doing. It's from an undisclosed location in the middle of the desert.
It's like Black Phone with Bespin. He's down below me right now. You've seen that movie, Black Phone? Yeah,
I have not, but I get the point. So yeah, we know that the volume was used. People saw it with their own eyes. Meg mentioned before. Genevieve said herself, like she did scenes there. Jason's source says, "Hey, I was there when he unplugged your lights."
Yeah, he's in the walls now. He gets in the walls and runs around a little weirdo, and he takes lights down. It's okay though. I'll beat him later.
But look, they saw it with their own eyes. They were there when he says we didn't use stagecraft at all. Maybe he's thinking stagecoaches. Like, no, that's westerns. We didn't shoot anything in stagecoaches. What? I don't.
Yeah.
No, it happened.
I mean,
it happened.
There's like a chance that they were like, hey, that one scene where blah 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 happens, and he's like, we didn't use stagecraft at all. We built that whole set, and then now the quote ends up in Empire. We didn't use stagecraft at all. That's probably what's happened here.
Very, very good.
You think it's an incomplete quote?
Probably. It's probably like missing a little bit of context about what one of either the interviewer or Gilroy was talking about.
I don't know, Jason. Sounds like an excuse you would use.
What?
I caught you out of context at that movie theater. You were just polishing BB-8's bulbous head on your own.
Oh my goodness! It says shooting with expansive vistas occasionally meant some big long walks, and pitched. I have no idea how they say this in Scotland.
Pitlockery.
Probably pitlockery. And we had to walk for hours up a mountain to set up one shot, and we may see that in that trailer, right, where they're up on the mountain, kind of working their way through the mountaintop there. It looked very much like a Sound of Music kind of shot. But they said it was a huge effort, really dangerous. All you could see around you, skies, trees, rivers, lakes. It was amazing, like being on another planet. And it says, prepare for Andor to make the galaxy feel bigger than ever before. And this is what Meg has been saying repeatedly over and over and over again over the last couple months. Look, Andor's going to make the galaxy feel bigger than it has recently.
I mean, that's what you said about me, but that wasn't true. Whatever. So what does she know? You know, she's been wrong before. Just saying.
Oh, so funny. And then there.
Galaxy great again.
The comments are great. Yeah, and LB is right here, and I was watching something yesterday. It was talking about using the volume. I think the skill level of using the volume, the people who, because we've seen it effectively used, right? Mandalorian, it was effectively used, and it kind of blew your mind when it's like, whoa, especially that first season when we saw the gallery episodes. Was absolutely mind-blowing. Wait a second, that's an LED screen? What? Because it was brand new. But now our eyes are...
Did you hear a little Chewbacca? Is there a little Chewbacca back there?
You did. They're playing.
Jason does a great Chewbacca impression.
Yeah.
Our eyes have been trained to it better. And even with what I refer to as like Generation 2 from season 2,
yeah,
with the improvements, your eyes have started to pick up on some of those things, and the people using the volume, if they're experienced in it and use it judicially in the right way, can be very effective. But if it's overused, right, is what LB is saying here, right? If it's overused.
I can just imagine Santa watching The Mandalorian Season 2, squinting and being like, you know what? That crate dragon isn't real.
He's like, you know what? I don't buy it. It's not real. I know that's fake.
You know what I'm thinking? Is when I watch Meg's videos on 2x speed now, it's this motion effect is quite...
I don't just read the articles, I hump them.
So yeah, go watch Meg's videos at 2x speed now that she's got this animated GIF. It's fantastic. But there's another part with Andor talking about promises an epic battle against the Empire in Star Wars' latest series. And I put in the description, Andor's going to put the war back in Star Wars. Because we do end up with, we even saw in the trailer this space battle reminiscent of the prequels, right? And I think that's going to be very rewarding for fans of Star Wars, being able to see us in the stars with a war, right? Actual space battles. It should look fantastic. And in this article, it's kind of short and kind of just fluff, to be honest. But it goes on to say it's for long-term fans. There's plenty to be excited about. A glimpse of the Galactic Senate from the prequels. Return to the Forrest Whitaker Saw Gerrera, so we get that.
Return to the Forrest Whitaker.
External shots of Coruscant.
I missed the trees for the Forrest Whitaker. That's what it should say.
Stunning vistas, battle shots, lavish empirical interiors, a real sense of visual groundedness with promises what looks even more epic Star Wars streaming series than we're used to. Bad news, you have to wait till September 21st. And it says, bring on the rebellion. So, look, I agree. And I am getting super excited for the show. I hope that they get more people, the casuals, the normies, just the Disney Plus subscribers, to tune in and catch the show. And it should be for especially, I think, prequel fans,
Did you see
really good.
the new article that's like Andor is Star Wars' scurrilous take on the Trumpian world?
No.
That it's on Empires, and it has a new image as well of
Yeah,
Fiona
I
Shaw.
literally was about to say I came across that before coming on the stream. I'm sure that's going to make some
I'll
fans very delighted.
yeah, I'll put it in the private chat. So if you want to pull it up, if you want to,
I see it. I got it.
oh, you saw it? You got it. Okay.
I've got it right here. We can take a look
Yeah.
at it together.
Yeah,
So
Fandom
this
Man is
is
gonna have fun with this one. I'm
Oh, boy.
I'm happy.
so this is 2 hours ago, right before we came on. It says, in many ways, it's not surprising Tony Gilroy's taken on a Star Wars project of his own. After all, he was majorly involved in Rogue One, which this show originates from. He's credited as co-writer, but elsewhere he's been less known for sci-fi than scripting gritty political legal thrillers. Right, Bourne Trilogy, Michael Clayton, both are fantastic, by the way. He has no interest. Oh, this is funny. Admitting he has no interest in Star Wars generally. Oh no.
That's good. It's literally good. It really is.
I agree with Jason. I think we spoke about this on the Making Star Wars show a while back. While it doesn't really matter that directors are necessarily personally involved in the Star Wars universe in terms of their own interests.
We have
In fact,
certain
that could be
YouTube
like
channels.
counterintuitive.
We have certain YouTube channels that think every Star Wars should be done by superfans.
I like Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni did that thing I like. Therefore, it's like if you wanted everything. I mean, I'm not knocking like the Mandalorian, but if you only want the Mandalorian, then that's all you will ever get. If with that methodology, you won't get anything that steps outside it. Star Wars will never step outside of itself if you don't do that. And that's the only way that we get new things brought to the table that Dave Filoni can then capitalize on in doing what he does. It's ultimately super healthy.
Well, we know that the Acolyte has gotten a bit of criticism because there's a writer or two in the writer's room who are not Star Wars superfans. Even though the showrunner, Leslie Headland, is a huge Star Wars superfan, and many of the writers are. You've got the same oversight there with Filoni over content creation. It's going to be an excellent series, but they've created video after video after video how there's a writer in the writer's room that isn't a Star Wars superfan and has to have things explained. And here we get from Rogue One, as you both have kind of already mentioned, that he admittedly is not a Star Wars superfan. In fact, he has no interest in Star Wars generally.
But here's the caveats, though. He is a huge Star Wars Rebels fan. He's praised
Really?
Star Wars Rebels. Oh, yeah. Him and his brother, all about Star Wars Rebels. They loved that side of Star Wars, ironically.
And I wanted to bring on the point where I already have the sense that Andor is going to play into the war in Ukraine. The parallels there are going to be pretty stark. I think we'll be able to see those because
but only by coincidence because
Yeah, exactly. It was filmed way before.
Yeah,
I agree, but I think that it's going to be clear. I think it will be. And because Star Wars at its heart, and it goes back to Lucas, is about people resisting empirical kind of governments, right?
I can't wait to get to the Fiona Shaw quotes.
Well, recently, when I was talking to sources about Andor, that was one of the things that I was told that I put in that last article was that it was about what happens to corporations once imperialism fully takes over. Once you fully move on, what do the corporations become? And then they essentially become enslavers.
Yeah, and what we see with Russia invading Ukraine, and we see
and who Trump wishes he was. Trump wishes he was a Russian oligarch.
We're going to get there in 1 second.
We're going to get there, Jason.
I can already see it in the next paragraph. But with that, and also then the Ukrainian people, refugees being spread out to countries around the world, and trying to pick up the remnants of their lives. As that is what is going to happen in Andor. That we're going to see people displaced by the Empire and fleeing to different worlds, different planets, and their lives being disrupted. It's going to play parallel with modern politics. It just is. He's taken the here we're talking about. He's taken the origin story of Cassian Andor as a means to tell Tony Gilroy's story in a galaxy far away, delving into political machinations of the Empire in full swing, which is sort of what I was just talking about. So here we go. The rage videos are coming.
Strap in and strap on.
Yeah, Lucasfilm's out of touch. The Kathleen Kennedy red eye laser beams. It's all the angry Mickey with the sharp teeth, and it's right here. Here it is. The result is something with considerable contemporary resonance. Tony has written a great scurrilous take on the Trumpian world, says Fiona Shaw, who plays Marva in the series. Our world is exploding in different places right now. People's rights are disappearing, and Andor reflects that in the show. The Empire is taking over. It feels like the same thing's happening in reality.
She's right. I hope they address it properly, and hopefully Andor can take out someone with a comb over who just wants to take the rights away from people. I'd love to see him and someone called, I don't know, Mickey and Pence or something like that get just obliterated in the show.
Do you think Mon Mothma's going to wear like a black T-shirt like Zelensky? You know, when he was wearing those T-shirts out there when he's like doing his presidenting during war.
Well, as you said, this was all before the Russia thing.
Yeah, it's all before.
But yeah, and I think the parallels would be easier for folks to attach to Putin and Russia than necessarily.
Let's give it to Trump because he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know I'm conservative. I'm a Republican.
But Trump's not conservative at all. He's a faker.
I know. Look, I'm going to say I didn't vote for Trump either time. Mm-hmm. I voted seriously. I voted on the Libertarian ticket as my option out.
Yeah,
I still voted, but I voted on the Libertarian ticket because I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. So that's me. I'm still not going to vote for a Democrat. I'm not doing that. But I'll never be that desperate. But I did put my vote for the Libertarian. So that's LB. I see you, LB. We should talk sometime. We should talk. I would love to have a discussion on your channel someday about somebody who is in my position, a lifelong conservative, Republican Party guy who will not vote for Trump. Right? I won't. That's just me. But in any event.
I would though if he made fun of my wife. Like if he made fun of my wife, that's when I'd vote for him.
So I think this is definitely going to get attention. This will get some traction. Fiona Shaw. There are channels devoted to attacking this kind of content, and so this will definitely hit the internets today.
Do you think there'll be an Imperial that's going to try and build a wall from Tatooine to Alderaan?
Oh, LB, thank you for this. This here deserves a highlight just because he used my favorite term, my favorite LB term. Maybe I could talk some sense into these buffoons. LB, I would love to. I would love to. Ducky, the OT was about Vietnam. And we know that after the fact for sure. We know that that George Lucas was anti-Nixon. He was definitely.
He was saying it by 1980, for the record. He was saying it like you could even see it from Star Wars to Jedi in like the 82 interviews. He's saying it.
And he specifically said that the Emperor has a name, and his name is Richard Nixon. That's a quote.
Well, because Lucas was afraid because he tried to do Nixon's aides wanted to do a January 6th. They were trying to find ways to use the military to barricade him in office and keep him in power. and how can we use the people to stay in power? I've tried to find, because Roger Stone was one of Nixon's aides. I've wondered if Roger Stone was the one who had the idea, but I was never able. I researched it, tried to find if that was him, because that's so crazy. That would be like the craziest Star Wars article of the world if that was true. But it very well may be, because we know Roger Stone has a Nixon tattoo because he's a maniac.
Well,
can't disagree.
Okay,
Jason,
but Ducky's correct here. It's a bit of a timeless, because the way he wove it into the story gave you definitely World War II kind of anti-Nazi kind of vibes. Yeah. And when Lucas came out and said basically that the Empire is the Nixon regime, and that U.S. forces, and that the Ewoks and the rebels represented the Vietnamese people. That was quite stark and very direct. He didn't infer that; he said it. I mean, so
and we're seeing that with Ukraine now. I mean, the Ukrainians are Ewoks.
That's 100% what I was going to say. Yeah. Is this comment here, and I was kind of alluding to it already. She's saying that Tony wrote this Trumpian bit in, but to me, I think people are going to pick up on the Ukrainian situation more than the Trumpian situation.
Well, I think it's fair to say that that Trumpian world includes Ukraine. The impeachment of Trump had a lot to do with his handling of the Ukraine situation and then wanting to get that ball rolling. Remember? Like, that's what started this, was him going, what are you going to do for me, Ukraine? What are you going to get from on Hunter Biden? What are you going to make up for me? And then once there was nobody to protect that, then we end up with the situation that we're in. So I would say the Ukrainian thing even encompasses that the Trumpian world. It's all part of the same thing.
I can see that.
It's like a precursor to it. Yeah. And they can include more of the Russia-Ukraine stuff into season 2. Like, kind of make it more deliberate.
I'm less on the same page as you. I get what you're saying, but I'm just not willing to go all the way in there.
Tony Gilroy's on the left, so you're coming from it from a Republican view, whereas his worldview would be much more aligned with myself or Jason.
You're right. And perspective. I don't get. Anyway, I don't agree with you completely in line there where the Trump spurred on the Ukrainian situation. I back off of that, but I put that directly on Putin, and that's where I'll leave that. But for as far as this goes, I think that
they attacked in 2014. Remember, those are the 2014 stuff.
Exactly.
So it was an ongoing thing. Trump was in the middle of that. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I'm saying that the concept of a Trumpian world, I think, though, like it encompasses more than just Trump himself, right? But global politics. So
that's what
I mean.
Yeah. Whether Tony Gilroy was writing this, and this is where I'm making the parallel.
Okay.
George Lucas wrote Star Wars as anti-Nixon with an anti-Nixon narrative. That was part of his story. He wrapped it really, really well, and he told that story just brilliantly. And what we see here, and I think Tony Gilroy has done, at least I think he has done the exact same thing, where he has this we say it here in this quote, right? This is going directly at the Trumpian world, right? But I think he's written it in such a way that you don't have to, it's not going to be pushed at you, Trump's a bad actor. It fits the story because that's how it was written, just like the Vietnamese in Star Wars, right? It fits the story because that's how it was written. But just for the average viewer, it's going to come off as Star Wars. It's not going to come across as anti-Trump.
I agree that it's Star Wars, but she's literally telling you it's going to be anti-Trump.
Yeah. Well, it's just like George Lucas told us it was anti-Nixon. It's exactly the same. That's my point. It's exactly the same. And hopefully that Andor, when you watch it, will come off the same way that Star Wars did to the original trilogy, and won't come off as preaching at people. Like you watch Star Wars, you didn't pick up that he was preaching anti-Nixon. That wasn't what the movies, when you watch them, you're not like, oh, this is the anti-Nixon trilogy.
It's not until you get to the trilogy aspect of it. If you just saw A New Hope, you're just like, imperialism is bad.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you get to the whole trilogy, when you look at it, when you hit like the Return of the Jedi point, it starts to become more obvious, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Like, I don't think they're going to spray tan Palpatine orange, but I do think the messaging will be clear.
yeah.
Very good, Meg. Perfect. Let's see if there's something else in here to pick out in the article. Set in the 5 years running up to Rogue One, expand on Luna's not exactly clean-cut hero. Efforts undertaken by the rising rebels to fight back against Palpatine's regime. Shaw continues, I was impressed by Tony's social realist intentions. So there you got social messaging right in it. Again, this is what some of these YouTube channels are preaching about every single day.
Well,
Keep
I
the
will,
social
Stellan
messaging out of
Skarsgård's
my
character does have some like Steve Bannon vibes on the yacht when he was getting arrested for spending the all of the build the wall money. You know, he does. I wonder if do you guys think Stellan Luthen? Do you think he's actually a good guy, or do you think that that's like a big twist? Is it a big like trick to like?
He's kind of morally grey. He's like not all the way Saw Gerrera, but he seems to be like, you know, a guy in the rebellion fighting the Empire, but on his own terms.
Yeah.
Well,
He
in
might
context
betray
of what,
Andor. I could see that happening.
yeah, in context of this story and what you just said, I could see it happening now. I wouldn't have before, but I could see it happening now. Let's see, what else does it say? For Gilroy, the series continues tradition of the rest of his work. Andor comes from the same place as everything else that's come out of this office. From Clayton, Bourne, The Devil's Advocate, now this. It's a full-on drama, which that insanely excites me. Like, if it's coming from the same place as Clayton and the Bourne and The Devil's Advocate, yes, sign me up for all of it. All of it. This Republican wants all of it. I'm just saying. Looks great. Result is insanely ambitious, dark, and real, according to Diego Luna. Returning to the role, even as Tony was pitching me, I was like, this is amazing. You are sick. And I think that's sick from a colloquialism, right? Like that was sick. Good.
It could be that, or this might go into a really gross place, and the ability to confront that reality is like, man, you know, you go hard. It might mean that too.
Yeah.
You know what's going to be fun with this series is seeing all the channels who, you know, are Disney skeptical or whatever you want to call them, just get really triggered from this, and it will show that the Imperials felt that they were the victims when actually they're the oppressors. Because they always think they're the victim in a situation. Like, they'll provoke people with some like narrative on Twitter, and then they'll get like backlash, and then they'll make 10 videos saying, I was bullied, I'm just trying to promote positivity. And then they say stuff like, we are the rebellion. It's like, fuck off. No, you're not. You're the Empire.
You know what, Meg, I want to thank both of you for having this discussion with me today, because what I hope to do now, and this is just coming out of my head as we're talking about this, through Andor, as we're watching this, I would like to continue this discussion about the social messaging that's in the show that is intentionally there, and how it can be interpreted by different fans, right? I think it could be a really interesting discussion.
When I try to think about it, like I try to imagine, like if I just want to say like social conservatism, if it really existed today, like I honestly don't feel like current politics really that's very conservative. I don't think they're looking back at anything, trying to preserve anything that was real. So I'm not sure. I think it's like it's something different right now. But when I try to look at it, if I was a conservative, and like what this show would mean to me, like how would it play. I think that the takeaway would be like, don't go this far. Or if you believe that like you are trying to, if your methodology, if it ends up doing this, it's the wrong thing. That would, I think, would be the positive takeaway from stories like this, and about like what they did in Chile and stuff like that in the 70s with Milton Friedman. I know we both
I love Milton Friedman.
I fucking hate him. I think he got a genocide in Chile. I think it's terrible, but it's there. You know what I mean, though. But it's like but you can see where a conservative could be like, Milton Friedman did this, and this was good, and this ultimately led to some prosperity here and there, and but you know, at what cost? And I think that's what the show is kind of about.
Yeah.
For who? Like who? Yeah, somebody prospered, but who? And who didn't? Like if everybody wins, fantastic. But when the losers are at such, when the winners get so much, you're like, oh, it's so beautiful up there. But then you look at like Andor, and he's like, they're all so fat, and you know, and I'm down here fucking eating scraps like a rat. Like I could see where the message, I think, would be like, there's a line. You know what I mean? If we want to look at the show less politically, in the sense that like not as them trying to strangle the conservatives and say you're wrong, but maybe it's like, if it goes this far, it's wrong. Maybe there's a line. Right.
Yeah. It's all about that line.
Yeah, I don't believe I don't believe for 1 second in woke corporations. That is a myth, because these people do not care. Like Disney would do Trump cruises if it was profitable, if it made sense, if they could win doing it, they would, like hands down, and they wouldn't allow anything to step in the get in the way of that. And so that's just my take on it, though. Sorry, I'm getting excited.
No, I think your take is absolutely right, both on, you know, work corporations and all of that, because at the end of the day, it's money that talks.
Yeah.
But also just on what the series is going to be. I don't think it's going to, you know, try and be like, conservatives, you're wrong. But I do think it's going to have a subtext of putting up a mirror to the more extreme sides of things, and when things can go too far, when you start taking rights away from people and having this narrative that you may as well have subtitles in German, then something's wrong with your country, type of thing.
Yeah. Parable.
Parables.
That's the word.
There you go. Very good. We have a couple of fun things here at the end that I got on Patreon. And so I'll just cover a couple of these, and one of them ties in directly what we're talking about right now. And let me see if I can get this where it can actually be read on the screen a little easier. See if this helps.
I feel like the dark web. Is this Star Wars dark web?
This is my code editor that I use when I'm writing computer code. So I just put my notes in here.
Wait. I'm sorry, Santa. Is Ducky Momo an AI? Has he not been real this whole time? You got to tell me. Like, if you're a cop, you got to tell me. And if Ducky Momo's an AI, you got to tell me.
No. Okay. But Dale Erdman asked a good question. It ties in exactly what we're talking about here. It says, what do you think George Lucas would say about the white slavers now when he sees the Andor trailer? Or Andor as a whole?
He thinks that they would tell on themselves to make $1. That's what he thinks. That's literally what he thinks. Because the white slavers thing, what it means is that these are people that are not artists, but businessmen who took on these jobs to extract capital off of artists, and they don't care what the artist is doing, and that they will make money off of the artist first and foremost. That's literally what he means. That's always been the fight for George, I think, since day one.
Do you think Gilroy is tapping into his inner Lucas with this? Do you think they'll be on the same page?
I don't know. I honestly, when it comes to Lucas, I don't think he's as liberal as we would think. He's still, after all, a billionaire. And he was still, you know what I mean? There was a little bit like ethically, I think. So I think he would agree with the messaging of it. But I also don't think he would ever go as far as Gilroy's going to go in this story. And I don't think that they would come out at Lucasfilm, though, behind the scenes, when the writer's room, so to speak, and tell Disney what they were doing exactly. They would let the white slaver read the script and go, oh, this sounds intriguing, but not tell the white slaver exactly what the point was. And then after it's made and it's in the bag and it's coming out, that's when they would start saying it. I think that's how it works.
Gotcha. I do agree with Jason in that sense. And I think George has a very different view of creativity and crafting a story. With a background in anthropology and the social sciences, he always looked to world cultures, stories, religion, all of those kind of things to craft a story based on a political message. But I think Tony Gilroy is going to be far more direct about it. I genuinely think that, and as Jason said, it probably didn't take much for them to get this story approved, because in theory you can mask it with a Star Wars story not being about anything on Earth in the real world politically, but then obviously have that subtext.
Yeah, very good. The next question is fun for Ducky Momo. Here we go. It says, you made an ill-advised move and allowed Broom Boy to run the Blurg stables. He left the door open, freeing the animals and leaving the elves to continue toiling in the coal mines. Now, without the Blurgs to pull your sleigh, the Last Jedi has officially ruined Christmas. You need to quickly find a team of Star Wars creatures to replace the Blurgs. Who do you choose? Or what do you choose? If I couldn't have Blurgs pulling the sleigh in Star Wars, what would I have them? What would I pull the sleigh with?
Tauntauns, obviously.
Purgles. Because Purgles can fly.
We would end up with them lost. We'd be out there with Ezra and Thrawn somewhere, and we'd have to go out on a big mission. You'd have a little Mandalorian armor, have a big white robe on, and people.
I have to say though, Meg makes a good point. Hyperspace travel would make it a lot easier to meet the deadline. Overnight, their speed. There's a lot to be said for having Purgles pull the sleigh at hyperspeed through the night to be able to deliver all the presents in one evening. So that's got to be good. But I think
one miscalculation though, and you've cut a family in half.
Well, true. So Tauntauns do make the most sense though, right? Like, hello, Tauntauns. They live at the North Pole.
Noise when you're trying to empty your sack.
But that smell, people would know you're coming. They're like, oh, I smell.
I'm sure people would know you're coming.
Santa's here. I know. Diamond Joe. Exactly. Meg. Quentin, they heard you, Meg. So the last one. Comes from...
When you're done delivering presents, do you say, I came?
Santa came! Ho, ho, ho! No?
Well, I'll let Sketchcraft Rob answer that question later today. His answer will be quite good. So,
do you ever say, "Tell Mama thanks for the milk" before you leave? No. Okay.
That's a good one.
So our friend Astromech Jeremy. I love Astromech Jeremy. He's a fantastic guy. The interview he did with Quentin was brilliant as well. But he said he just started chapter 55 of Shadow of the Sith. I love that book. It was really good. Without being too spoilery, just curious, anyone who's read the book like me would think it would make a great series. I thought movie at first, but then we'd never get all the book gives us. Might be hard to discuss without spoilers, but generally curious if fellow Star Wars fans feel as strongly as I do. Also, for the record, they get R2-D2 just right in this story. I like the sequels, but they could have taken notes on this book's usage of the little guy. I will say, I would love to see animated series takes of novels. I was talking with Star Wars Fitz yesterday. We had a personal phone call and we talked to each other for a while. I've talked about how the Dragon Prince animated series, that art style lends itself perfectly for fantasy genre. And I would love to see them retell the Harry Potter series through animated, do each of the books as a season. Right? You could have 7 seasons and really delve into the story better. So, Astromech Jeremy, I am very much of the opinion that we could take some of the more popular novels, both from the EU and the the canon and adapt them in animated series, that would be brilliant. I would love it.
Continue Tales of the Jedi that way, maybe.
Yeah, and it sounds like the Ahsoka series in Tales of the Jedi, that arc will explore part of the Ahsoka novel. So, yeah, I think that can be done. Meg, what about you?
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think I am riding a bantha.
I love when people get here and they're like, wait, what's going on with Meg's?
make somebody just needs to animate her hands doing this, and then it'll just always be like
we just need that.
Sometimes it makes me feel weird.
Well, I was going to say something, but I won't. Something I wanted to say, and I'm just like, okay, I'm.
Come on, buddy, you're Santa Claus. Come on.
No, no. You almost got me to do it. No, I'm not gonna do it because it's a little naughty, and I'm just not gonna go there.
HasLab Meg.
You know what I miss, Jason, about your streaming style? I miss when your microphone had that massive, like, tip on it.
I took it off because you mentioned how big and black it was, and then I took it off. And
it did make you look very, very small.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh, hold on.
There you go.
All right.
There it is.
There it is.
We have a Mike Porter dad joke. This one I really liked from today. It says, how does Obi-Wan Kenobi greet a tire before he changes the old one? Uh-oh. We went. Oh, here it is.
He says, I'm not by. I'm unicycle. Oh, sorry.
Hello, spare.
All right. I'm going to clap for that one.
Good.
I think you're back, Mike. You did it. You returned.
That's really good. Really good. So,
that's so dumb.
And Baymax, I'm with you. We need the HasLab TVC Ghost. Somebody put that on a collector site. Somebody did a fan version of it, and it looks brilliant. I hope they do. But my opinion is that the really low hanging fruit for them would to do a Black Series Fennec Shand helmet. The demand would be high. The design of it is quite simple. It's a no-brainer. Easy money.
Maybe after Ahsoka, after the Ahsoka series airs, maybe they will try and pull out the Ghost HasLabs version.
Very good. All right. Well, that is it for today. We've gone long. That's what she said. I know. Meg, I got in there before you.
I was going to say it, but I knew one of you would. I was like, one of those.
Jason, you missed the last stream where Santa was wearing these pants that said "juicy" on the back.
Yeah. I know he always texts me and he's like, haha. I'm like, well, what? And he says like, I've been a bad bitch. I'm like, what is that, Santa? And I know he has those juicy pants on when he says it, when he texts that.
Oh no. Jason, what's your topic of the day? Coming at the top of the hour.
All of the news. I don't think I'm going to make the top of the hour today. But right. I think we're going to go live around 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today.
I've got meetings from 3 to 6, so I won't be able to be there, but I'll catch the replay. You guys make sure you check out Making Star Wars, the Making Star Wars show, all of that, and then Meg, of course, thank you so much for coming in, offering to join us today. It was a lot of fun. Meg. It's a lot of fun. At Planet Fitness, is that true? No, it's not true. None of it is true. None of it. All right. Well, with that, my friends, thank you again for being here. And all of you, we've had a lot of fun today. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. And I can't wait to talk to you soon. And until next time, I will just say, Merry Christmas. And may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye.